Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Good afternoon, assalamu alaikum, and welcome to Sports Extra. I'm your host Ahmed Nawaz with the latest roundup of sports today. We've got a bunch of things to discuss. Let's take a look. First of all, we start with the Pakistan's tour to England with a 4-match T20 international series. After the first one was washed out, Pakistan lost the second one, and now they face England in the third T20 international tonight. It's going to be very interesting. England are suffering. You can sort of say a squad change, but I think they'll be happy with that because they want to make some experiments themselves as well. So Josh Butler is going to miss out this T20 international because he is on paternity leave. So of course I think those duties come first, but I think that's going to be a major difference because Josh Butler is in the form of his life, and I was actually very pleased to see him opening for England because I was having this discussion with a few of my friends, and I actually pointed out that I think England are going to go with Josh Butler to open the innings. They had other thoughts, but they said that he might bat in the middle order. I said no. If you've got a batter like Josh Butler, he's going to open for England. So that did happen. Pakistan have got some chances to make amends. I understand that we don't want to be result oriented, but one of my friends very keenly pointed out that the fact is that you don't want to carry low confidence going into the T20 World Cup. So you need that confidence as well. So I'm stuck in that conundrum. But then again, let's see what happens, and we'll discuss all the positives and negatives that we are seeing right now with the Pakistan team. Of course, you talk about a couple of days left now before they move on to the USA to play the T20 World Cup. So we'll talk about that. Then we move on to Australia, a volleyball team coming to Pakistan. They're here in the country for the first ever 3-match series against Pakistan, and it's going to be very interesting. The Australian volleyball coach has also applauded the standards of the Pakistan team as well. The first ever 3-match series starts off from tonight at the Liaquat Gymnasium, where the first match takes place between the two teams as well, and I think it's a really positive development. The Pakistan Volleyball Federation, including the coach Ruben Wolotin, deserve a lot of credit that they have been able to muster up an international series for Pakistan volleyball team. So we'll talk about that as well. Time now to introduce the guests. First of all, for our first segment in studios, we've been joined by sports expert Rizwan Haider. Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Assalamu alaikum, Ahmed. Good to be here.
Great to have you on the show. We've also been joined by cricket expert and analyst Sabir Hussain. Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Walaikum assalam, Ahmed. I'm fine, thank you.
And we've also been joined by somebody who happens to be a sports expert and also a cricket expert and analyst. We've got Hassan Hussain Qureshi. Assalamu alaikum. How are you, sir?
Assalamu alaikum, Ahmed ji. I'm very well. Always a pleasure to be here with you.
Great to have you on the show, sire. Thank you very much for joining us. Now, Rizwan, let's start off with this T20 series. And like I said, that England don't have the luxury of Josh Butler. I guess he's got more important things to attend to, and likely so. But Pakistan's case right now, if you look at that T20 as well, some people said Pakistan did pretty well to reach 160. Unfortunately, there were still lapses that we've been talking about, nothing new. How would you like to analyze this entire T20 game?
I think it's not that Pakistan did really well. I think Pakistan is a team of about 160, 175 runs when
Average.
it comes to, it's an average team batting first, or when it comes to chasing, they're much more comfortable chasing. And that's the reason I keep saying that they don't have the confidence to win the toss, bat first. I think with Josh Butler going out, it's not an issue for England because they're wanting to experiment before the World Cup. We have no such thing as whatever is called experimentation. We don't have any idea. We don't do that until and unless somebody gets injured. Nobody gets a chance. But still, Pakistan should go with a positive note, even if they get to bat first. They should, be aiming at 200, 190, 195. When they go into bat first, they take too much time realizing how the wickets is going to behave. That in a 20-over game, if you wait for about 5 overs to analyze how the wicket is going to react, then you've just got a 15-over game left for you. So 180 becomes a very difficult target to achieve, and anything over 180 is going to be competitive. But let's see how Pakistan goes. Best of luck to Pakistan.
Certainly, best of luck certainly is always there. But Sabir, I think this was, like I said, that as soon as we're getting near to the World Cup, we're going to see Pakistan's final playing 11. No, we have the squad already, but I think they will be going with the side that they believe is going to be representing them in the World Cup, their first choice 11. So that would be the case. But how would you analyze the game?
Look, I mean, yes, playing 11, basically, everybody knows about the playing 11 because Babar Azam, the way basically Babar Azam, leading his side, and basically the 15 players, they were finalized in Pakistan last month. I mean, but they have announced, a couple of days ago. As far as the playing 11 are concerned, basically Saim Ayub has been, given lots of chances. Yes, he's a youngster, he's learning up much, but I mean, better to give Usman Khan a chance because he has been in the team for so many matches, but he has been not given a couple of chances like Saim Ayub basically has been taking so much chances. It's good to see basically a couple of bowlers are performing really well. Haris Rauf's comeback was good, okay in my opinion. Because he was struggling in his first over, but I mean the way he came back and picked up a couple of wickets as well. It's good to see Shaheen Shah Afridi picking up the wickets, especially in the power play. Good for Pakistan. The major problem for Pakistan, especially going to the World Cup, I mean the middle overs in batting department, also in the bowling department as well. We have basically seen Shadab Khan is struggling. Before Shadab Khan we used to have Mohammad Nawaz, but Babar Azam does not have the luxury of Mohammad Nawaz this time. But I mean, a couple of bowlers basically, they have to perform. Babar Azam basically, it's better to give Ibrar Ahmed the proper chance because before going a major event, you better to give chances and give confidence to the youngsters. I mean, if you're not giving them chances and you just throw them in the bigger event, so you cannot expect such kind of performances from them. Yes, senior players like Imad Wasim, Babar Azam, they are contributing something. Fakhar Zaman is back, picking up his form as well. But I mean, they have to contribute something in a winning cause. We have seen Iftikhar Ahmed while playing 61 matches, but he has not finished a match for Pakistan. So while they are senior players, they have to stand up because Babar Azam, Mohammad Rizwan cannot give you 100 partnership in every match. Shaheen Shah Afridi cannot give you wickets in his every first over. There are other basically couple of 7 to 8 players. They need to contribute for Pakistan in a winning cause.
I think I'm stuck at this conundrum now. Winning cause, players' contribution, very, very important. But the fact is that I think till we also have some concerns regarding the roles we're giving to players as well. I agree with Sabir. I think you cannot go with the rhetoric of immediately playing any bowler in the World Cup if you've not given him game time right before the World Cup. Like I keep on mentioning, everybody's not going to be Roman Reis of the Champions Trophy immediately debuting in the semi-final. That's not going to happen. So probably I think this is a good time, the last two T20s remaining, that you can give Abrar an opportunity and see whether he fits into the system. Because the way things are going, I think more options we have, the more luxury for the captain as well and the more comfort for the team management. Hassan Qureshi, how would you analyze the game in England so far? One thing is very pertinent, that obviously conditions are going to be very, very different once they move on to the World Cup, majority of that being in the West Indies. So even though if the, Shadab particularly, if people talk about him is struggling or Saim is struggling, so like the captain keeps on saying that one good innings, that might improve.
I think conditions-wise, obviously things are going to be very different. What you want to do is take the same approach into all of the games. So the approach in England is you're up against a team that plays very aggressive cricket. Obviously, they're the defending champions. You want to take that approach going into the West Indies also. I think Sabir made a very good point earlier on about, how if you're not going to give Abrar a chance now, when are you going to give him a chance? This is why it surprises me that having made the decision to go with Abrar, which was a bit of a left field decision considering Osama Mir's performances in PSL and for Pakistan against New Zealand recently, why is Abrar not playing every game? If you're not giving him that opportunity to see what he can do, and you're going to throw him into the deep end, in games in the US, a potentially massive game like India, and then going to the more spin-friendly conditions in the West Indies, that's not fair on the player as well. And I think, this was the time to give Abrar a run of 3-4 games, whether it was against Ireland, whether it was against England. So you could have seen if he's successful for you in the power play, maybe right after the power play, in the middle overs, where rightly it was pointed out that we've been struggling as a batting side and a bowling side. So it's a bit worrying that the team think tank hasn't really looked at this. And regards to all the other players, whether it's absolutely valid point that Usman should be given a chance as well. You want to back your players. It's all about the mindset now. I think what Pakistan needs to be looking, even in England right now, is the mindset, and we need to be pushing. 100% valid point by Rizwan that if you're looking to understand what the pitch is like in the first 5 overs, those are the most important overs of any T20 international. And if we are becoming a team that's pigeonholed as one that's comfortable chasing, more and more opponents are not going to give us that luxury, put us in first and feel they're in with an advantage.
Hassan, one particular point where Babar Azam has always needed support from the other end. And I've often said that we have been too obsessed with Babar and Rizwan's numbers in criticizing them. I don't mean necessarily us, but obviously the general lot. that we've not talked about the support, the lack of support that they've had around them. Even in the second T20, Pakistan scored 160. 77 of those runs came from Fakhar Zaman and Babar at 3 and 4. So Fakhar's current form right now, how important do you see this? And also the fact that if Babar does bat at number 3, both of them then complement each other.
Fakhar's form is very important for Pakistan, MSG, because Fakhar is one of your, if not your most destructive batsmen. And he's a batsman that can change a game for you. Babar, I do agree with you, and I think Coach Gary Kirsten rightly said it too, that all the pressure cannot just be on Babar to score the runs all the time. But that's where a mindset comes in. That's where I think we need to go in with the mindset that everybody has to go in, and that's where you pointed out, are we giving players specialized roles? We saw Shadab Khan succeed batting at 4 in the PSL, but he's not coming higher than 6 or 7 playing for the Pakistan team. Are we utilizing players to their best strength? Right now, we are waiting for that one big innings from Saim. We are hoping that, as usual, Rizwan and Babar will be consistent, and we really need Fakhar to keep up this form, because when Fakhar is firing, he can turn a middling total into a good one. And obviously, if we saw what we saw from Azam Khan in the last 2 T20s against Ireland, when he comes in and bats with that confidence, it changes everything. But at the moment, there is too much pressure on the batting lineup if Babar does not play well or Rizwan does not play well. And I think we need to find a solution to that, which lies in the fact that we just need to have a team output or a team, thought process that encourages all the players to go out, bat, make runs, and contribute. Right now, we are, I agree with you, far too dependent on 1 or 2 batsmen, and when they don't get going, it puts us under too much pressure.
Well, certainly, I think that is the case. But Rizwan, that is probably that one thing where Pakistan needs to understand, that teams around the world are not entirely dependent on one player. Of course, they've got their superstars, but then again, everybody in any capacity is playing or contributing in a role. India can be that one example. I think the best example of that is New Zealand team, because they've got so much diversity in their ranks that everybody's contributing.
I think we failed to realize the same thing that Hassan also identified, that you can't depend on 1 or 2 players. It's a game of 11 players. It's a squad of 15 players. All 15 need to be utilized. They should know what their roles are. The playing 11 should be decided whenever it's decided. The players need to know their roles. You can't be over dependent on Rizwan, because when you're playing against England or Australia, or they've also identified that Rizwan is a good player. Fakhar and Babar, those 3 wickets matter. So if you get them out early, or if you identify their weaknesses, then Pakistan is going to struggle getting 150 odd runs. Similarly, bowling wise, we have to have different options. You can't keep on saying that Shaheen is going to go the first 2 overs in the first 3 or 4 overs, and then the 17th and 19th, because we found out that we haven't got a bowler who can bowl from the 12th over till the 20th over like Umar Gul used to bowl. Similarly, Haris Rauf walking into the team without any performance, being unfit for the for the whole duration of the PSL, and not playing in Australia and New Zealand, and he just walks back into the team. Similarly, I think Hasibullah was unfortunate not to be given any opportunities, and Azam Khan just walks into the team. How many times, can Azam Khan be selected just purely on his batting form? Is that a question mark? Because for me, until unless he his strike rate is about 180 odd, he's not worth his weight in the team. Well, there's a lot of weight we're talking about. But similarly, can Azam Khan be selected even in the Bangladesh team as a wicketkeeper? I don't think so, because he's going to lose you 20 runs in the field as well. So we haven't. And again, Abrar hasn't been given a proper chance. Osama Mir rightly pointed out by Hassan that he was the best bowler in PSL. Similarly, I fail to understand why somebody like Hamza Mir wasn't given an opportunity in the T20s when he bowled so well in Australia in test matches. And if somebody bowls well in test matches, I think he always he deserves to be be given a chance at least in the T20. Similarly, Muhammad Ali performed very, very well. Who was the spinner? Salman Ali Agha, Irfan Khan. You got so many people who could have been tried in the number 5, 6, 4, 5, 6 slots. But we're again going with 4 openers, which we've been doing for the last 2 to 3 for the last 2 T20 World Cups, the 2021, the 2022 one, and now 2024.
People are also talking that the way things are going, you might not have Shadab bowling 4 overs, at least 2 overs probably.
I think Shadab is not even worth his weight as a bowler in the first place. First of all, you have to identify what is the role of Shadab. And first and foremost, his basic role is that of a strike bowler or a bowler who comes in the middle overs and gives you, control. And he's not been doing that. He doesn't flight the ball too much. And we haven't got a single spinner, including Abrar, who gives the ball any air at all. I think if Takhar and Saim Ayub are the only one who are part-time spinners who are the ones who flight the ball. So another major blunder by Pakistan.
Sabir, the bowling department right now has got some diversity at least. I think we saw a brilliant performance from Imad, but I was frankly glad that at least he bowled his 4 overs. That was very, very important. So at least he's getting game time. But obviously, for Pakistan's case at least, you need a very similar Shadab to what we're used to be seeing. But if we can't have that, then if he's bowling 2 or 3 overs, if he's not getting those results, and probably I think things are going to change when they move on to the West Indies because of the slow tracks. But then again, you need support at the other end, and that might, considering the team combination, come from either Iftikhar or Saim Ayub.
Look, I mean, we have been talking about such things. Babar Azam basically needs to, utilize his players. I mean, we have been basically given lots of, examples. I mean, in front of Babar Azam, like MS Dhoni used to do. Steve Waugh basically used to utilize his bowlers. I mean, that was the reason they were basically successful captains. I mean, so Babar Azam needs to understand the role of Iftikhar Ahmed. He basically bats. He comes out the bat at number 7, number 8. It's basically useless to say. I mean, he's a proper batsman. He's a genuine batsman who can.
Sabir, he doesn't come at 7 or 8. He comes in the last 4 overs.
So
that's
disappointing
very
to
limited
see.
time.
That is the reason basically he's not finishing the matches. I mean, he's basically a middle order genuine batsman. He basically needs to come at number 5. Then he can accumulate the runs. He can build up the innings as well. So basically, Shadab is a wonderful player, no doubt about it, because he's a exceptional fielder. He can bowl a couple of overs. I mean, not a complete four overs. If he's not basically in a proper form, so why don't you take a chance to ball him in a power play? Because maybe he can pick up a couple of wickets, so bring back his confidence back. I mean, we have seen Sarfaraz Ahmed used to do. So I mean, these are small things basically Babar Azam needs to learn, because this is the third World Cup for him as a captain. He has basically made so many mistakes. I mean, so I basically personally believe that he must be improved as a captain, because in batting we basically do not have any doubt as far as his batting skills are concerned. So this is the time basically he needs to learn which kind of bowler basically can bowl at 7th, 8th, 9th over. So these middle overs basically are hurting, because Shaheen Shah Afridi, Ahmad Wasim, basically they are picking up the wickets in the power play, and death overs basically we are containing the runs. But middle overs are very a general problem for us. Like Umar Gul, we used to take, and the name of Umar Gul, Saeed Ashmal, as Mohammad Hafiz himself, Shahid Afridi. So nowadays, Ibrar Ahmed should be a proper spinner for Pakistan, because we have seen every team has a genuine spinner. Australia, India, New Zealand, even West Indies as well. So every team has a genuine spinner. Unfortunately, Pakistan is basically going for the bowling all-rounders. I would say Ibrar, Shadab Khan, Imad Wasim are not your genuine spinners. I mean, so blunder made for Pakistan, because Isama Mir was your highest wicket taker in PSL. If you are picking up the players on the basis of PSL, so better to pick up the players the highest performance, like Mohammad Ali, Mir Hamza as well. These are basically genuine fast bowlers who can bowl at the death overs and also in the power play as well. So again, Pakistan basically needs to understand the role of every individual player and utilize them properly.
I think clarity is very important. Hassan, your thoughts on the clarity that the skipper should have, and also the choices, because I agree that Pakistan's middle over phase, both in batting and bowling, has been a bit of a struggle for us.
I think MJ, as Rizwan rightly pointed out, I mean, the problem is that on what basis have we selected Haris? Have we selected him on the basis of his performances in the past that have been very good? And on the same basis, how has, I know, obviously watching Osama not get picked is a big surprise. Watching Zaman Khan not get picked is a big surprise, when he's one of the few who is a death bowling specialist. Who are the players you earmarked as being the ones who perform in the middle overs? Who are the ones who have, we keep talking about data, we keep talking about statistics and utilizing them. Have we looked at the bowlers who are the best, or the batsmen who are the best in those particular passages of play, and picked them for that role? If not, you're doing them a great disservice. I would say it's the same with Shadab. We saw him lead Islamabad United to the title, batting at 4. We saw him not bowling that many overs. We saw him utilizing different bowling options. You're asking him to bowl 4 overs and bat at 8 and expecting the same performances. The captain has to now understand that, and as this is something Sabir has rightly pointed out, this is a third tournament. If we keep a World Cup in mind, we keep Asia Cups in mind, for the captain. Is he giving his players the clarity that this is the role I want from you? Or are we just picking the players and hoping that on any one particular given day they may or may not perform in that role? We've hardly seen Iftikhar used. We've hardly seen Saim used. When Shadab was struggling, why were neither of these players tried? Just to see if something different was going to put the English batsman off. And that's a risk you cannot take going into the World Cup. And that comes again, like you rightly pointed out, from a lack of clarity. Until and unless we have clarity of players' roles, clarity of their strengths and their weaknesses, and understanding how to utilize them, we'll keep making the same mistakes. And the biggest issue we're all seeing with Pakistan cricket at the moment is it's continuously repeating the same mistakes. Like Rizwan rightly pointed out, other teams know which players are good. Other teams are understanding what strength which player brings and planning for them accordingly. Why are we not planning to our own players' strengths and instead asking them to fill in different roles? Carrying four openers means you are batting two guys out of their natural positions where they would succeed, and equally leaving out two guys who would have been better off or have been better off consistently playing in those positions.
Certainly, I think even I'm not in favor of making any such changes this time as well. I think too close to the World Cup now. If you wanted to change the combinations, then you should have done it before. Now, if you ask Saim to bat at number 3 or Fakhr or Babar to come above you, I think it's not going to work as well. It's all going to go haywire. The blame is going to be put on the players, and that's where things can go wrong, and they will go wrong. So it's very important to take it game by game. But at this, yes, Sabir, you'd like to add something?
One thing I just want to mention, another thing for Pakistani batsmen, basically, they need to understand the game awareness, because Fakhr Zaman was batting exceptionally well, but he basically needs to understand Iftikhar Ahmed as well, because when you have picked up, 15 to 16 runs in an over, while you are basically, getting out, and on the last ball, you have to give respect to the bowlers like Jofra Archer. Basically, it is his last ball of the over. So, you have picked up 17, 16 runs in an over. So, basically, you have lost Babar, Rizwan, Saim Ayub, and a couple of more, genuine batters. I mean, better to basically, take a single, then utilize the other overs. I mean, so this is the reason we have basically lost crunch matches for, in the crucial moments. I mean, especially in the bowling department. Babar Azam needs to learn, if you have left-handed batsman, try to bring Iftikhar or any off spinner, then bring Silp as well.
Proactive approach. I think that's very important. That you
I
have
think
a
in your
approach.
dreams, Ahmed and Sabir, we've been saying that for the last 20 years. It's not Babar's first or second T20 World Cup. It's his third T20 World Cup. He's captained the team in the ODI World Cup. He's captained the team in 2 Asian Cups. So basically, if you've the experience of 5 to 6 international tournaments leading the team, then I'm sorry, game awarenesses don't really matter.
Can a man not dream?
No, he can. Of course you can. But in your dreams, I always get a triple hundred. I always get, 7 for 20 with a hat trick and, 4
Well, I know for a fact,
10 overs.
but that is something not in your dream. That's in reality that you were ever so close to a Premier League trophy. I know that. I know that for a fact.
But yes, well, we won that as well 24 years ago, I think, 20 years ago. But the fact of the matter is that as Hussain was mentioning and Sabir, that game awareness and we need to learn from your mistakes, we haven't been doing that. And the only way to do it is, in the bilateral series like India and Australia and England do that. And we don't do that. Even in the bilateral series, we're scared of dropping Rizwan for a couple of games. We're scared of, giving Shaheen Afridi a rest that he'll get upset. We're scared of getting Babar Azam to say, you sit this series out. The Indian captains sit out series and get Hardik Pandya to become the leader.
I remember Dhoni's era. They tried probably 4 to 5 captains.
Exactly. That's how you learn. That's why the bilateral series are. They're not for trying to win every game with your best team ever. So basically, what you end up with is exactly the solution right now. That you have no idea where each player is going to play.
Certainly, but to the players' credit, I must say that they've never been given that confidence as well. I think that is also a conundrum in Pakistan cricket. But thank you very much, Hassan Hussain Qureshi, Rizwan Haider, and Sabir Hussain for joining us. Before we go, of course, we have to tell you once again that the third T20 International takes place tonight. Action, of course, resumes. You can watch it live as well. And then, of course, on the other end, we have to tell you that the Australian volleyball team is in Pakistan. They're here to play a 3-match series for the very first time. Their coach applauded the Pakistan volleyball team as well and their skill level. And, of course, the first match of this 3-match series starts tonight. So, all the best to the Pakistan volleyball team. And, of course, I think a warm welcome to the Australian volleyball team as well. I'm sure that they're going to have a splendid time and there's going to be quality volleyball on offer as well. On that note, that's all we have time for from me and the entire team of Sports Extra. It's goodbye for now.